The Uchiha clan was never cursed by a god. They were cursed by the same thing killing men right now. In Naruto, the Second Hokage explains the Uchiha like this. They love deeply, but they hide it. And when they lose that love, it turns into hatred, completely. That is the curse of hatred. It is not about being evil. It is about men who feel everything but never deal with it. So all that love just becomes rage. Right now, outside of anime, that same thing is happening to millions of men, but most people miss the detail that changes everything. The Sharingan wakes up through emotional trauma, and its final form? You only unlock that by losing someone you love. Think about that. Naruto is telling you that strength through suffering is a curse, not a gift. Remember that idea, because later you will see how the internet flipped it completely.
All right, let me hit you with some numbers, because this is not just an anime thing. In 1990, only 3% of men in America had 0 close friends. By 2021, that number jumped to 15%, 5 times higher in just 30 years. And here is the part that should bother you. Men make up half the population, but nearly 80% of suicide deaths. 4 times more likely than women. That is 39,000 men in a single year. And 40% of men have never once talked about their mental health. Not a friend, not a therapist, nobody. Sound familiar? Because that is exactly what every Uchiha did before they broke.
Take Obito. He was a good kid, loud, kind, wanted to be Hokage. Then he watched the girl he loved die right in front of him, and nobody was there to help him process that. Not one person. So what happened? He killed an entire platoon in a blind rage. Then he spent decades trying to trap the whole world in a dream, all because one boy lost someone and had no one to turn to. Now think about someone you know, someone who went quiet after something bad happened. That is the curse of hatred in real life, and it does not need a Sharingan to destroy someone. But Obito was not the only one the system failed. The Uchiha were not just individually broken, they were set up to fail. Konoha segregated their clan, watched them constantly, and cut them from leadership. Then, when they pushed back, the village ordered a genocide. The system failed them first, then blamed them for breaking. Richard Reeve says the same thing about men today. Male loneliness is not just guys being bad at feelings. Churches, unions, clubs, those spaces have disappeared. And when men fell apart, everyone blamed them.
When those spaces vanished, something else moved in, and it made things way worse. The Sigma male pipeline sells lonely men a story. You are not lonely, you are chosen. You are not struggling, you are leveling up. Cold detachment is power. Sound familiar? That is the curse of hatred repackaged. The Sharingan gets stronger through pain. The Sigma brand gets stronger through isolation. Same lie, different wrapper. 92% of young men know who Andrew Tate is. 2/3 of guys aged 16 to 25 regularly consume this content. A Monash University study found this pipeline mirrors radicalization, self-improvement that quietly leads to resentment. You really think choosing isolation makes you strong? Naruto already answered that. It gave that mindset to Sasuke, and it nearly killed him. But here is what breaks the Sigma fantasy.
I am the character the Sigma world would claim. Silent, stoic, shouldered everything alone. The internet made me a symbol of cold strength, but the show tells you the opposite. I killed my entire family on orders from village elders. I became a criminal. I was going blind. I died from a disease I told nobody about. The show does not call this heroic. It calls it a tragedy. I told Naruto that doing everything alone leads to failure. Their favorite lone wolf literally said that path does not work. try explaining that to someone. Watch their reaction. Kishimoto, the man who created Naruto, said it himself. When I am close to someone, I am scared shitless that bond will be cut. Loneliness scares me more than anything. So he built the answer right into the story. People make fun of Naruto for talk no jutsu. Every villain, he just talks to them. But think about who he actually reached. Gaara, a kid so alone he tried to kill everyone. Nagato, who destroyed a village out of grief. Obito, who wanted to end reality itself. Sasuke, who chose isolation as his whole identity. Every one of them was drowning in pain. Everyone believed love made him weak. Naruto beat them all the same way, not with a bigger attack, by refusing to let another man stay alone. 40% of men have never talked about their mental health. That is not anime logic. That is the most radical idea in the show, and one more story proves it.
You want to know the part that actually got me? Kisame Hoshigaki. A man who was forced to kill his own comrades, his own master. Then he met Itachi, and something changed. Not some big dramatic moment, just two broken guys who stayed loyal to each other. And when Kisame was about to die, you know what his last thought was? Whether he had been a good enough partner. That is it. Not power, not revenge. Just, was I worthy of this bond? And people say caring about your friends is weakness.
None of this was ever about a fictional clan with magic eyes. It was always about men who love deeply and then get told that the love itself is a flaw. In 2023, the Surgeon General called loneliness a public health epidemic and said that being isolated is as deadly as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. The curse of hatred was never supernatural. It was always just the quiet belief that you are somehow better off alone. And right now we are watching that same belief destroy the lives of men who will never bring themselves to ask for help. The cold open was not a metaphor. The Uchiha were never cursed by some god. They were cursed by the exact same silence that is killing men all around us today. So, here is what I need you to sit with. Madara spent his whole life trying to escape reality, and in his final breath, he turned to Hashirama. He said they were still friends. After everything, after decades of war, hatred, and trying to end the world, his last words were about connection. The most broken man in the story still reached for a friend at the end. So what about the guys in your life who went quiet? Are you going to reach back or let the curse win?